Hello, 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 and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about a variety of topics: remote work from home, the stimulus package, strippers being able to file unemployment, and we'll give you some updates on the unemployment process as we discussed last week with the 10 things to do after you find out you were furloughed. Today we're going to start with remote work. I just want to make sure that everybody understands that everybody is not privy to remote work. So if your company has reached out to you and you are currently working remotely, please be grateful, because some people are not even able to do that. With that being said, let's get into it. This is for employees and employers. Employers, if you do not have a current work from home policy, stop what you're doing right now. We'll continue with the video, but make sure that by the end of this video, you have it in your head what you're going to do for a plan. You need a plan of action, and you need to put in a policy, and you need to distribute it and make sure that it's acknowledged by employees. Information needs to convey to the employees a comprehensive telecommunication policy. It has to be unique for each position. If you want to do more of a blanket policy, which I don't suggest you do, it still needs to have specifics on the following: availability. Are you available from 9 to 6? Are you available from 8 to 4? Are you available for 4 hours, 2 hours? What does that look like? Employers, when you create this policy, you need to convey that in the policy. What does that look like for your employee? Employees, you need to convey this information once you receive it from your HR to your family. Your work hours are from 8 to 4. Your work hours are from 9 to 5. Just because you're working remotely from home does not mean you get to watch Netflix in the middle of your time for a project. So your availability has to be just that, available. If your employer or a colleague calls you between the hours that you have available, you need to be accountable for where you are. With that being said, responsiveness. What's your response time? Will remote meetings take place? Are you available via Slack, via Skype, via Zoom? Are you always logged into your computer? Do you log into certain times? What does that look like? Employers, you need to convey that on the policy. Employees, once you get that policy, you need to review it, read it, acknowledge it if it is something that you have agreed on. If there's some type of issue with that because you have kids at home or you're having to take care of someone sick, that needs to be conveyed also. Productivity, employers, this needs to be indicated on that policy. What does productivity look like? Number of hours that you're going to be working, not just availability, but number of hours that you're going to be spending on a specific task. Number of hours you're going to have, or if you're going to have a meeting, how long is it going to take you to complete this task? So productivity needs to be discussed. It needs to be mutually agreed on, and there needs to be some type of record keeping for your file for the employer side. Employees, you should also keep a record of productivity just in case there's ever a question. You know what you were doing, you have information, and you're able to convey that. Meals and breaks and lunches. Now, some states require employees to receive a meal, break, and lunch. And as I did say some, because not all states provide this. So I want to make sure you know that. If you're covered by one of these laws, you are eligible for a break and or a lunch. That needs to be clearly defined. So if you are working 9 to 5, you need to have a break. You need to have a lunch. That needs to be conveyed. So employers put that in writing so that there is no room for misinterpretations. So feed me Seymour, feed me now. But make sure that it's conveyed, and make sure that there's some type of record keeping, because in the event employers, especially in the state of California is an employee friendly state, you will have to prove, you will have the burden of proof when it comes to proving that your employee received lunches or breaks. So make sure you're keeping that record. All right. Equipment. Remote workers need the right tools to complete the job, period. Companies need to state what type of equipment they're willing to provide and what type of equipment that they're willing to pay for. It needs to be upfront so that there's no second guessing. With that knowledge, this policy that we've talked about, employers, you need to convey what is covered: computer, phone, printer, postage, mileage reimbursement, whatever it is. Because again, California employers, you have the burden of proof. You are going to have to prove why you did not pay this employee if they went out and paid for equipment to do the job that they had to do. Okay, so I want to make sure you're clear on that. You have to pay or provide equipment for your employees. If they buy it, you have to reimburse it, or you need to pay the upfront cost. Okay? And I want to make sure you understand, employers, in that conversation with that policy, you need to specify that. Also, privacy. A lot of you remote workers are dealing with confidential information. This needs to be conveyed on the policy, employers. What cannot be shared should be the same information that comes from your employee handbook. And if you don't have an employee handbook, call me so we can figure out how to get your business together. Everybody should have an employee handbook, regardless how big or small your company is. If you have one employee, you should have an employee handbook. Okay? Make sure, employers, if anyone is using their employee computer or a computer that you decide to pay for as a company, make sure you're using G Suite, Google, two-factor authorization, some type of encryption, because you want to make sure that your company business and information, your client's business and your employee's business is safe. Talk to your HR department. Your HR department needs to talk to the company. Make sure that your employee is aware of what will and will not be paid for, because employers, you're on the hook if you don't have anything in place. Also, workers' comp, safety, employers, you're still on the hook for workers' comp in the state of California. Really, workers' comp is in every state except for Texas. It's not mandated, but you are on the hook for your remote workers. So what does that look like? Again, make sure you have a policy, because you can be cited for a workers' comp safety issue if somebody calls in and says, you know what, I have had an ear infection from the handling of these phone calls, in and outbound calls with this headset, and it's causing me an ear infection. This is workers' comp related. Now, granted, it'll have to go through the same workers' comp process like anything else and be investigated, but you're still on the hook. So again, message needs to be conveyed. Policies need to be written, needs to be distributed, acknowledged, signed by the employee. All right. So let's talk about this stimulus check. So the stimulus checks have already started rolling out. People have been getting their money. Just to recap, $75,000 is the cap for individuals, $112,000 is for the head of household, and $150,000 are for married. The payment per individual is $1,200 for the individual or head of household, and $2,400 for the married couple. And children will receive, mothers, families with children will receive an extra $500. Who is not eligible if your income is greater than the caps that I gave you. And I'll put all this information down in the link so that you'll have that. Do you need to take action? There's nothing that you need to do. Just wait. It's coming. Now, if you have not filed your 2018 or 2019 tax return, you probably will not be getting a stimulus check. So I want to be sure that you understand that. You probably will not be getting a stimulus check. If you owe back child support or any type of garnishment to the IRS, you might want to check with your IRS agent. I'm trying to find out if that information is on the website, and if it is, by the time I update this, then I'll make sure it's updated. But as of now, I do know that you have to have filed 2018, 2019 tax return in order to be eligible for the stimulus check. So please do not call the IRS. They will actually have an announcement to let you know, do not call us regarding your stimulus check. It's coming. It's in the mail. Okay? So be on the lookout for that, especially if you have filed your 2018, 2019 taxes. How do I know that my IRS stimulus letter is coming? The IRS plans to mail you a letter to the address that they've had on file when you filed your taxes within 15 days after the payment has been made. So this letter will provide information on the payment that was made and whether you're going to get a check or it's going to be deposited into your account. The same account that you set up again when you filed your 2018, 2019 taxes. You can also check the status of your stimulus payment. You can go to the IRS.gov website, and there's actually a button that says get my payment, and I'll again link that information, and you can see the status and different statuses. And it'll also tell you, it'll give you status updates. It'll tell you, what that looks like for you. there will be 1 to 2 different statuses. The payment status, that means the payment has been processed, a payment date is available, and a payment is to be sent either by direct deposit or mail. You are eligible, but a payment has not been processed and a payment date is not available. That's status 1. 2, need more information. You're eligible for a payment, but we do not have your direct deposit information. So you'll be given the information, the opportunity to provide your bank information once you're properly verified. And the direct deposit, they say, is the fastest way. And then payment status not available. They cannot determine your eligibility for a payment at the time. For example, you didn't file a 2018 or 2019 tax return, or you recently filed and return has not been fully processed. So you get one of the 3 status updates when you go to the IRS website and click on check the status. And again, I'll put that information in the link so that you know if you're going to get paid. But that's the most updated information on the stimulus check, and you'll be getting that information. All right, now we're on to strippers. Yes, strippers can get unemployment insurance. Employers who hire dancers and strippers, please understand that you have to classify them as employees. They are now considered employees in the state of California. So please make sure that they're classified correctly. Or strippers, you can file a wage and labor claim and make sure that you file it under misclassification. With that being strippers, you are eligible for paid sick leave. Yes, you are. So you have the right to it. You can do it as an accrual employers, or you can do it as a front load, but they are eligible to use after 90 days of working in the club. So dancers can take paid sick days if they're sick or they think they might be sick, just like anybody else, and they cannot be retaliated against. So again, employees / dancers / exotica, you can and do have the same rights as any other employee, especially in the state of California. Strippers, you're also eligible for unemployment. Now, if you have not been classified as an employee and you've been classified as an independent contractor, you still can file for unemployment. I will have the link down below. If you have been classified as a regular employee and you get the same rights and benefits as, let's say, a manager of the club or a bartender per se of the club, then you'll file the regular way with the regular link. And again, I'll put the regular unemployment link down there for employees or those who are classified as employees, and I'll also put the new link for the independent contractors that can file unemployment. This is going to be going into effect, I believe, April 28th. But again, I will put that information. Also, strippers, you are eligible for disability insurance. If you do get sick and you cannot work, you can apply for disability. If you get hurt on the job, your employer at the strip club should also have workers' comp insurance. So make sure employers, especially employers who operate a strip club, dance club, you still have to have workers' comp insurance. It might be high, but you still have to have it. There's also other benefits for strippers, and I'll put that information in the link below. Strippers are people too. Also, with unemployment, the bill passed last night that you will be eligible for an extra $600 on top of your unemployment. So that will be starting. Some states have already started to delve that out for your next claim benefit period. The weeks of unemployment have also been extended from 28 weeks and they've been added up to 12 more, 13 more weeks. So be mindful of that. That's an extra boost in your unemployment. Again, please tell the truth in your unemployment, because you can lose your unemployment benefits and you don't want to do that during this pandemic. I will put the updated unemployment information on a link below so that you'll have that. But the Senate did pass last night the bill to up the $600 for your unemployment benefits. So good luck. I hope everybody's doing well. I am actually going to be working on quarantining and getting my health together. So I'll be doing a video shortly on a weight loss journey that I'll be doing with you during quarantine, so that when I get back to work, honey, I will be, you see that? I'll be like that. But anyway, stay blessed, stay safe, and until we meet again, She Said What is out. God bless.